So my first project came through my network, where the chief knowledge officer at that time of Wipro reached out to me and said, there is a project that is coming up. Wipro cannot take it because it's not of that size that we are looking at. Will you be interested? And he passed it out to me. I went and pitched to the client, and they accepted and they took me in. So what I'm trying to say is that your network is very critical, extremely important. Okay. And at one time, majority of my projects were coming from my network only. So I have a fairly good network. I will not say excellent network, but I had a fairly good network, and I was trying to get projects from my network itself. So that was one thing that you should always keep in mind and try to do it. Okay. Your network is extremely important. Network helps you in multiple ways. Like it can give you a funder, it can give you a employee to work with. So in our case, we were lucky to have a very good network in multiple ways. Okay, so for example, my first client came through my network. My first employee came through my network. As a matter of fact, majority of my employees are coming through network, and we are definitely taking them through a proper interview process and all these things. But they are coming through network for us. Okay, and the people, what I have seen is that the people who come through network, you definitely have to do your interviews, you have to assess them and all that, but they will stay with you from a long-term perspective. They will align with you, they will stay with you. So network is very strong. You should keep an eye on ensuring that you're taking care of your network very well. So that was another thing I want to call out, okay, using your network. Let me first, okay. The other part that I want to mention with respect to our company, we are a services company. We are not a product company. So in of our case, what has happened was that we started with when we started, our aim was, or the our offerings was, to provide knowledge and information management services to the clients. So that is what we started off with, to do high-end consulting for companies and all that. But as we got into it, as we started with our first client onwards, what we realized is that in our kind of area, you have requirement that is a combination of both consulting and product implementation, solution implementation. So then we kind of slowly changed our mix of services or offerings. So we did consulting and technical implementation. After some time, what we saw was that we started getting a lot of technical implementations, and the technical implementation was not in our core area. Okay, so we kind of slowly started realizing that our core focus was getting kind of blurred. Okay, so we consciously then took a decision that no, some of the clients we will go say no, because that is not in our area. Our core area is knowledge and information management. So if you are getting into a services kind of company, or a startup is services kind, always be clear about, or you should have a good grip on what are you in the market to, what are you offering to this market. You have to be very clear about it, and you should ensure that that focus is not lost, because that is very important. As a matter of fact, so I have a dedicated BD team, and the BD team is very excited whenever they see a client and the client comes and gives a requirement. But slowly, what I found was that BD team was trying to get projects, which is good, but they were slowly deviating from the core area in which we wanted to work. So then I had a meeting with the team, and I told them that this is what we have to be doing in this market. This is why we came into the market, and this is what we are going to do. So then we change the strategy of the company. Now, the question you may have is that if you are getting business in some area, revolving it, why do you want to pull it back? Okay, and that is what my BD team also asked. So my response was, we came into the market with a specific focus and capability, right? Now, this you should always keep in mind. You, when you're getting into a market with an idea, you should also have a very deep, very clear understanding of that idea and the surround area knowledge. You should be in a level where you are known as the thought leader in that field. When you become a thought leader in that field, you will find more and more newer ideas coming into your area, which you will be able to leverage and apply on your product or solution that you're getting. However, if you're diverging from your area, core area, you're spreading yourself thin. So when you're spreading yourself thin, the problem is that your core competency is not there. Okay, anyone can come and challenge you. You will not be able to innovate at all. You will not be able to find new solutions, new products in the area that you are focusing on. So for us, our core area was knowledge and information management. But we started slowly diverging from there. Some clients came, they had a tech setup related to knowledge management. However, they had some additional element. There was a migration piece that was coming up. There was an automation piece coming up. We started taking it up, but then we realized that we are going away from our core focus, and we pulled it back because we realized if we don't pull it back, in some time we will become an IT company, and that is not what we had come here for. So you need to be clear about what is the core. Why did you get into the market? What is your idea? What were you passionate about for which we came into the market? That you should be very clear about. And as a founder or as a key person of the company, this has to be clear to you. Okay, this is what I have come to the market. This is what I'm going to offer. The more you're aligned with your core thought process of what you're going to give, the more innovative you'll become, more ideas you'll get into that area. And as you keep focusing on it, you will come out with more and more better ideas that will have a huge impact into the way or what you're going to offer. And this is something I have learned. As a matter of fact, in one of our engagement with a large business conglomerate in India, we were providing them services in specific areas, and what we realized was that we were not innovating for them. Okay, while we were giving them solutions that were very unique in the market, we were not giving them very innovative solutions in our area of capability, or what we are thought leaders in. We slowly changed the strategy, and one day we made a presentation to them. We went and said that we have been doing a work with you. These are some solutions and all that we offer. However, this is what our take is with respect to the way you are doing your information and knowledge management. This is the possible business benefit that you're going to achieve from this. So we gave them a pitch completely focused on our core competency, and the client liked it. So why the client liked it was because the client has not heard anything like this, the possibilities of that. In between, they had got Gartner for some consulting in the same thing that we were talking about. Our story was much better than what Gartner could bring to the table. So they were happy that a small company like us could think so much, which a large company like Gartner could not. And that kind of also gave us a confidence that yes, what we are thinking is something cutting edge in this industry. So always keep in mind that you should be clear about your core. Your core is very critical. Never go away from your core. If you got an idea with respect to a specific area, that idea is evolving from a core. That core has to be very clear for you. And from there, you can play around with whatever different types of products. But your core has to be very clear, and you should be always true to your core. The moment you diverge from there, you are spreading yourself thin, or anyone else can come and take your position. So this is very important of knowing your core and staying with your core. Along with this, so what we also did was that we did a lot of thought leadership related activities, because we realized that the knowledge and information management is our core. However, people should know that we are thought leaders. So we started writing quite a lot, writing, publishing in different places and all these things, wherever our clients come to see and all these things. We extensively started writing and promoting ourselves and all that. And in some time, we were also, companies started recognizing, or the market started recognizing us as thought leaders in this area. As a matter of fact, I was the one who was heading all this writing and all that, and I got a lot of speaking opportunities across the world. I was invited to speak and all that. Now, so to ensure that our core competency evolves and to highlight to everyone that okay, we are here, we started writing and we became thought leaders also as part of our journey to establish ourselves as knowledge management experts. So that is another thing that we did of building our core and making ourselves known as thought leaders. Okay, that is one point I wanted to talk about. So the core is very important. You don't go away from your core. Always be clear about your core. Be that you being an inside out or outside in. Always understand your core. Have a deep understanding of your core. Okay, from once you have a very good grip of your core, you will be able to evolve newer products, newer services much faster. Okay, this is perseverance. I'll come to perseverance. But what I would like to highlight here is that entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. I don't have to tell you, you must have heard from multiple folks. But once you crack it, it becomes easy. But whatever be the thing, it's not an easy journey. Okay, as a matter of fact, NVIDIA CEO, somebody asked him whether he will do the same thing again. If he got an opportunity, will he do the same thing? He said, I'm scared to do that. Entrepreneurship is like that. Okay, it's not an easy journey at all. It's so damn painful. It literally kills you. Okay, I mean, it's not a easy stuff at all. Okay, you have to slog. You have to slog. You have to be. I mean, there is like, I mean, there is a lot of debate going on work-life balance. Okay, as a CEO, as a founder, there is nothing called as work-life balance. Okay, I tell my schedule. I Okay, my schedule is a bit more different. So I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and 4 o'clock, 4:30, I'm up, and then your morning, all your whatever that exercise and all these things is over. By 7 o'clock, roughly around 7:15, I start my work, and it goes on probably till 8 o'clock or around that time frame, till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, till I go to sleep. Definitely the family is supportive, but that is the way you work and when you have got a startup, okay, or when you've got a company. So work-life balance goes for a toss. Okay, that you be ready for it. As youngsters, this is easy for a because you don't have a family to, or rather that pressure of taking care of a family is on the lower side as compared to a person like me. Luckily, my family is supportive, so I could do it. But this the you should be ready to put that kind of a grind for to make a difference. Okay, so I would highly recommend that you read Elon Musk's biography by Isaacson. You should read it on the to understand the way he Elon Musk went crazily after his idea, the idea that he had, the way he sat and came out with products. Okay, single-handedly he developed and brought it to closure. Okay, so that is something amazing. And for success to happen, this is extremely critical. That is what I'm talking about, perseverance. There is no easy way at all, easy way out at all in entrepreneurship journey. There is nothing easy here. Okay, there is no partying. You, you may party, but there is no real partying. Okay, you have to sit, you have to slog, you have to take it forward. How much ever the market dynamics is supporting you, it's not a simple journey at all. Okay, I've done, I'm in the fifth year, I'm telling you that, see, there are two ways of looking at it. If you want things, you've got a level of business coming in, you can kind of relax, slow down, and kind of allow things to go. But if you want to keep growing your business, if you want to take it to the next level, then you have to slog like crazy. Okay, there is no two way about it. What is important is that you need to have a set of folks also who are ready to slog like that crazily. Okay, so this is important. Keep in mind that there is no work-life balance. Okay, you have an idea, you have a solution, you have to sit on it, you have to work on it, you have to take it to the market, and you have to spend your time like crazy. Okay, because that is how you can bring a change. So I was listening to one entrepreneur, and he was talking about, if you want to make an impact or grow, build an empire in your lifetime, you need to be different. Okay, keep in mind that. For example, Jeff Bezos, or you talk about any of our Indian entrepreneurs and all these things, they made an impact in their lifetime, right? I mean, our Zomato co-founder, Zomato founder, Ola founder, anyone you talk about, Bhavish or anyone, they made an impact in their lifetime. They grew big empires. Okay, huge empires they've grown already, and how they grew is because of the effort they were ready to put into it. Okay, and that is something you should be ready to. You should be ready to persevere. How much ever you fall down, you should get up and run. How much ever shouting you get, you should be happily listening to that. Your clients will come and blast you. You should listen to that. You will may lose out your key people. You should stay steady, right? I mean, tomorrow a completely signed business is there, and the next day it is gone. I mean, in during COVID, just before COVID, I we were about to sign a huge deal with a Middle East client, a huge deal, and the COVID hit us, and we lost it. And we have not, the client has not looked back at all, but we still went forward, we survived. So you have to persevere. There was one client I got, we signed that client uh, because we wanted to develop that product, okay, or the solution for them. We signed a client. However, due to some confusion, we ended up doing a wrong estimation, and we signed the client for 150 cost. Okay, we wanted to bring down the cost so that we can do that work, but unfortunately, due to your estimation problem, we did the work for 150 cost. And then it was crazy hell for us. We still continued working. One of my partner recently came back and told me that I thought you would have closed down by this time because of this project. Okay, I'm surprised you're surviving. It was just because of perseverance. We just pushed like crazy, and we got that done. The project is still going on, but the client is happy with us. We ensured that the client continues with us. So your perseverance is not a simple word. You have to stay focused. You have to keep on pushing as much as possible. As a founder, there is no easy way at all, and if there is an easy way or a way out, then I would say that you may be going for a smaller goal or a smaller task. Okay, there is nothing wrong in that, but you may be going for a smaller goal or task. Okay. So perseverance is very important. Okay. The other thing, this is for us, for me, from a services company perspective. So for us, there was one major problem was that because we started off with a passion to do make an impact and do things and all that, I didn't do my homework very well with respect to the metrics. Okay, on say for example, what should be the overall income on a monthly level, or what should be the expenses, how it should be handled, and all these things. Then, as we progressed, I realized that these are some key metrics that I should be keeping an eye on. So now I have a very well defined set of metrics using which I track the company. Okay, because we are a bootstrap company, it is important that we get the money on a regular basis. as well as we pay our salaries and all that. So keeping an eye on the metrics is extremely important for me. And I've started doing that. I have targets for my BD team. I have targets for my delivery team so that they know what they should be bringing or earning on a monthly basis. So there are very well defined targets that each of them are carrying, and I track everyone. Okay. I want to highlight another point here. This is an interesting point that I came across in one of the discussions by a founder. He said, while you may be a founder, you're also a program manager. Okay. You cannot hand over delivery to, while you may have a delivery team, you cannot be hands off with that. Okay. You should always be in control of the delivery. Okay. So there are some questions. Let me see that. What do you think of traits of young to develop while in college? Okay, I don't know how well I will be able to respond to this. What do you think are the most essential skills or traits for young entrepreneurs to develop? Uh, See, okay, because I have not yet started my journey as a young person. I started a journey as an old person, or rather, after 15, 20 years in the market. From a trade perspective, I would say having the audacity to go against the defined norm is very important, extremely important. If you like to do something, if you think that you will be able to do it, you go for it. Okay. See, entrepreneurship as going for entrepreneurship for the heck of going it, I don't support that. Okay. Luckily, see, when we were doing our studies, we were studying and all these things. Entrepreneurship as a focus was on the lower side. See, ecosystem was not there. Now the ecosystem is there. So whoever has got that capability to start on their own, they're getting into it. Most important thing is to follow the audacity to start go on your own. Okay, as well as following what you're passionate about is what I would say. Forming a good team is equally important. Okay, so this is what I think from my perspective is important. Okay. Financial discipline is extremely important. Okay. So I'll tell from my perspective, see, we are a bootstrap company. Okay. Bootstrap means you get the money, you pay your people, you invest, then you make money, you pay people like that. Okay. So the financial discipline is important for a bootstrap as well as a funded organization. I'll tell you where I'm coming from. So this is where you should also again read. I'm again see Elon Musk is one person I would highly recommend that you go and read it. Where I'm coming from, the way he was so when he started into the SpaceX business, okay, he followed the Indian way of doing things. I will call it as the jugaad. We have this jugaad way of doing things. So what he realized was that in NASA and all that, they had huge what do you call that procedures that they have to follow, the checklist they have to follow to do any experiments. This guy went and said, no, you don't have to do anything. You just look into whatever makes sense and then take forward and get the work done. His whole focus was to keep the cost on the lower side. Anything he will ask questions, cut down, cut down, cut down. Financial discipline is extremely important. I learned the hard way. Okay. I learned the hard way literally. Because for me, in the initial 1 or 2 years, we were getting projects. Okay. We were profit. I would say we broke even the first month of our company setting up the company itself. We started making money, small monies. I could pay my staff and all that from the first month onwards. So that in some way didn't inculcate the kind of financial discipline that was required. So now I have learned the hard way for the importance of being extremely disciplined with respect to hiring people or investing in some areas or planning your revenues that you'll be getting from the client, tracking the invoices. This is extremely important. Okay. Now, if you're a funded company, also, this is even more important because when you're a funded company, the money is there in your side. However, you should be clear that, for example, if you are funded, you are a product company, okay, you come out with an idea of a interesting product and you've got funded. Now, the moment you got funded, you will kind of relax down with respect to your innovation. This is my take with respect to your implementation, because you got a lot of money. You will kind of splurge money on it. You should not be doing that. You should have still a stingy approach with respect to how we are going to handle the money part of it. This is very important, because unless you do that, one is you're not going to innovate properly. Second is you'll run short of your money soon. So financial discipline is extremely important. Equally important is process discipline. Okay, at least this is what I have understood. Process from a services company extremely important. You should be process oriented and process discipline. Without proper discipline on the process part, things will not be in control for you at all. So that is another aspect that I want to call out with respect to the way you are running the organization, having a very good control on your process. Okay. Uh, okay, the bootstrap mentality, I've already talked about it, where with respect to financial discipline and all that, you should always have a bootstrap mentality, irrespective of whether you got the money or irrespective of whether you got a lot of money or very little money, you need to have bootstrap mentality. It's very important, because with more money, there is a good possibility that you may lose out focus. So have a bootstrap mentality into your way of work. This is extremely important for you. And I think this is my last slide. The most important aspect is respect your team members. Respect your team members. See, I've seen multiple cases of the way founders talk about their team members, or leadership team talks about their team members. I don't agree with that, because it is important that you respect your team members. Okay. And in our company, it's the entire we follow a different approach with respect to handling the employees. First of all of the employees are working from their home, so that is one thing. Second, we don't track holidays of these employees. We've told the employees, we respect you, as well as we look forward to you as a mature person. You know what is your roles and responsibilities, and we are not going to track how many days of holidays or how we are working and all these things. You need to get the work done. That's all. And we got mostly Gen Zs. Okay, so our company consists of young folks. I would say I have never come across such set of responsible folks in my life. Okay, we respect them and they also respect us. Okay, we kind of define the work that has to be done, and we don't track every time, okay, whether you have completed and all these things. No, we kind of allow them to evolve and grow as a employee, as an individual, and work with the company. Okay, what role do mentorship and networking play in the success of a start? I think mentorship is extremely important. Okay, as a matter of fact, a lot of my learnings as an entrepreneur came also from listening to other founders. So I have not been mentored too much by any founders or any entrepreneurs, but the sessions that I've attended by entrepreneurs and all these things, I could learn quite a lot. So it is important that you have good mentors when you're into your entrepreneurship journey. Definitely, you need good mentors. Okay, mentors will, because there is so much of learning that you get when you work on your own. For a new person who is starting a company, it is going to be a huge help. So getting the right kind of mentors is extremely important. How do you find I've not gone looking for mentors, so I will not be able to comment on that. However, you need to be connected with your network. You need to find network for connect with people and all these things. You may end up finding some very good people who can guide you and all these things. So always look forward to connecting with your system and shamelessly ask for help. Okay. So there are some traits that you need to have. One is perseverance, audacity, shamelessness, thick skin. These are all important. Without that, you're not going to survive. You need to be shameless in this when you're getting into a company, entrepreneurship business. You need to be thick-skinned. You cannot slow down. People will come and shout at you. When see every day morning, when some days when it becomes difficult when you get up in the morning, you start thinking, what am I doing in life? Okay. Then slowly you realize, no, this is a goal that I have to, then you just start things here. Okay, knowledge
Randhir,
management.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah, before you go there, I just wanted to announce our next lecture and we
mm,
can take few questions. We have few questions in YouTube and Facebook. I'll read out to you, but just like to share our next.
sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Rifat, can you share your screen?
I'll stop.
Yeah, no, but like maybe Randhir still has something going on. We can wait, right,
Oh,
Randhir?
okay, okay, okay. That's fine. Oh, okay,
I
okay.
am done, almost done. I'm responding to the questions actually that is coming here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought before going to the question answer, we
Oh,
can.
yeah, yeah. I can share 1 second. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. I can share. Can you see the screen here?
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Okay. Okay, yeah, actually, I just wanted to let our viewers know that we have our next lecture, which is on actually December 1st, 2024, and in 2 weeks' time. And we will actually have our first lecture on Nobel Prize 2024, like previous year. And our speaker will be Dr. Dhurjyoti Sharma from Guwahati University. He will talk about Nobel Prize in Literature in 2024. So hope to see you all at that time. There is a typo at the time. It would be at 8:30 p.m. Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah. So the next, what do you mean by knowledge? So, okay. So knowledge management, essentially, okay. Talking about knowledge management, what we do is, see, from a theoretical perspective, if you look into it, an organization has got multiple types of knowledge, procedure knowledge, and how do you do different kind of things and all these things that we call it as know-how. Then the causal knowledge of why we are doing some things like that. So these are the different kinds of knowledge, and the way you manage your knowledge is got a huge impact on your growth of the organization. For example, an organization, look into an organization is nothing but a mix of different kinds of activities that it does through different kinds of function, be that production, be that delivery, marketing, be that HR, different kinds of activities. Now, how you perform these activities is your IP. Okay. Now, growing that IP, evolving that IP, safeguarding that IP is critical for an organization. And that is what we get into it. How an organization can continuously take care of their knowledge, whatever knowledge they're kept creating, safeguard that knowledge, store that knowledge, institutionalize that knowledge and grow that knowledge. That is what we work on. Along with that, so that is the consulting that we do. And along with that, we set up the infrastructure for that on how that can be documented, made it available through, say, search engines, through chatbots and all these things. This is what we do from a KM perspective.
Okay, I will read it to you. There
Yeah.
is
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead, Sanjay.
yeah, there is another question. How did you handle failures or setbacks during your entrepreneurial journey, and what lessons did you learn from them?
Okay, so a lot of setbacks, only setbacks. I mean, see, if you look into it, we had a good combination of failures, setbacks, and success also. Okay, so for example, failures, as I said, right? I mean, we were about to sign a huge, or big deal actually with a oil and gas company in UAE. We were in the final stages. I was supposed to travel. Their tickets were booked. Everything was done, and then COVID hit. All the flights were cancelled, and the deal fizzled out. Okay. I mean, so that was a huge impact on us. I mean, but we survived. We just stayed because, see, the thing is, I mean, I'll tell you another case. Okay, so we at one time we were not making. We are bootstrap. We were not making that kind of a money suddenly. Okay, and our reserves were also getting impacted. I told my team that I'm going to hold back your salary. I'm not going to lay off anyone. I'm going to hold back your salary. Everybody was with me. They said, okay, fine, that's fine. Held back their salary and they were fine with that. Okay, so that was another way I handled it. So there will be setbacks like that that you get on a regular basis, and you have to. The most important thing is that you have to learn from your failures and you have to go forward. I mean, and this is a reality. You have to keep on understanding what kind of stuffs that you can come. Another thing that you should do is that you should think 2 or 3 or 5 months ahead, or think ahead of what all can come and impact you and work based on that. That is extremely important. You have to think forward, see what kind of issues that can come, what is the risk that can come, and then based on that you'll plan your activity and do it. This is something I've learned, and I've started doing that religiously, of looking forward and understanding what kind of impact there can be for the company from a growth perspective, and all that. I keep looking. See, we are looking for drastic growth for the organization. That is something I've been doing. That is my core focus. Okay. And when you're doing that, you need to build the organization accordingly. And that is what we are doing right now. Okay. So looking forward 4 or 5 months is something very important for us, while grounded with the reality of delivering whatever you have signed off with. So there is a combination that is required.
So, Randhir, this is my question. So, how much inside and how much outside effect you have on, like, handling failure? Like you were saying, like looking ahead of, like, 5 months, like what is happening. But so where do you keep the focus? Like, uh,
Good question. So, Sanghamitra, uh, so I've said right now, what I am trying to do, I keep telling my team that in some time I'm completely going to be outside focused. I'm not going to be inside focused. Okay. And I'm preparing my team for that. However, still, I don't want to lose control on the internal part at all. Okay. But I want to put 60 to 70% of my effort externally, because the moment I step out and I start talking to people, I see that I am able to generate more business. Okay. So, say I travel, I go to different places, I talk to the client, I go to their office and talk to them. The possibility of winning a business is on the higher side than my team members going and talking, mainly because they see, for example, the founder coming and talking. So it has got an impact. However, the percentage of how much I'm outside in the market is on the lower side. So because I also want to look into the way the company is working. Okay. So it's not that I am a what do you call that? Mm, I nitty-gritty, or I get into the nitty-gritty, not much, but I would say that there's nothing wrong in getting into the nitty-gritty. Okay. Because if you get hit somewhere, you get hit. So I get into the details, not so much, but I don't mind getting into the details also. Okay. I keep telling my team, unless you kick me out of the work that I'm doing, I will not go out. You have to I have to have confidence in you that you will be able to do your job properly. Only then I will completely be hands off. Okay, so this is my strategy, my way of working. And unless I'm kicked out of that specific activity, I will not be handing it over to my team members, and they are aware of it. So right now I'm 50% in, 50%, or rather 60, 70% in, 30% out. Okay, so that is the way things are. But slowly I want to make it 70% outside and 30% in, because then we'll be able to generate more business.
Thank you. I think Hiranyada has a question. I think that's very relevant. What is missing in our academic curriculum that are extremely important for someone who say applies for a job at your company right after their college?
See, I would say, okay, I may be wrong, but I am looking at attitude of people, nothing else. I have, when my first employee was not even out of the college, okay, and I got him in. He turned out to be one of my best employee, okay, because of his attitude, nothing else. Okay, my second best employee is a tech employee, but his background is MA English. Okay, but he is much better than most of the tech folks I have. He, as a matter of fact, guides them. Okay. For me, attitude matters. Okay, rest nothing matters. You got the right kind of attitude, rest everything will follow. For studying, for interacting with client, everything. Okay, that attitude is what is important for me, for that I look in an employee. As a matter of fact, that we have inculcated and we made it as part of our process. Any employee that comes in, they go through an assessment more of an attitude and a value fit than with respect to technical stuff. Because technology, they will pick. That I'm sure. We recently recruited an employee based on the feedback from the network that is a good guy, excellent guy with respect to technology, but not in our area. But we still brought him in, and he learned our technology within a short time frame, and he started delivering. So for us, what matters is attitude. We don't care whether we are getting a fresher or not. As a matter of fact, I got a not even a fresher. I mean, not even outside. He didn't come out of the college. He was for his project. I got one guy. I gave him production related, okay, one client related problem to study. He gave me a solution which I gave to the client. So I feel what is important is attitude of the students. That's all. That's very important. Having the audacity to come and learn and do things. That is very important. Nothing else is my take. I may be wrong, but this is based on my experience.
Thank you. Yeah, that's you raise a very important thing. You said your second base employee is MA English, right? So now and your company is a like knowledge management company. So my question is that's very actually inspiring for a lot of students. So a few years back, I gave a talk. And then a lot of people ask me like having an English background, what do I do? But that opens up a lot of opportunities. But can you give some explanation on how, like, what that person do in your company now, and how did you choose him to do your thing? I don't know if he had prior experience, because when when you employ somebody, you have to have some kind of other way. I mean, how you recruit, either you see experience or you knowledge. But in this case, I don't know.
I'll tell you how that person grew up. Okay. So I recruited him for his core capability of, see, we wanted someone to do our media management. Okay. Content writing, media management, all that. So he got into content writing and media management to write on content, some content which were technical. He started picking up technology. He started experimenting on technology, and then slowly he started solving problems. Then there was a client related requirement. We asked him whether he can handle it. He handled it. Okay. And then he slowly got into it. Okay. So there was no push from our side. He was only recruited for content creation and he was good into it. But it was technical content and he experimented with the technical content, and he moved into production. Okay. Now I would say, I mean, he is probably one of the best tech brains I've come across. Even from, I mean, I've been working across multiple companies. Also, I've seen, I mean, I had senior folks, 15 to 20 years experienced folks from the industry working for me, and this guy was helping them solve problems, and he was guiding them also. That is the kind of capabilities people have. So I mean, so I go with attitude or capabilities of the people, fearlessness of the people than anything else.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, in my team also there is a girl. I just wanted to tell you for the audience, there is a girl who did journalism. She was a journalist, but now she's a very good AI and data science person, because how she started is like in journalism also you need to do a lot of data, and she got interested and she tried for it, and now she's a top notch, data scientist and AI person. Yeah, I mean, people can switch. Thank you. That's a very, I think, promising things for, I hope, for the students. And another question, Randhir, we have in YouTube. Uh, how can students leverage their academic knowledge and skills in field like knowledge management and other innovation areas?
How can they leverage their
their academic knowledge and skills
Uh,
in fields like knowledge management and other innovation areas. Like
why do
what
you want to leverage?
like what kind of academic knowledge and skills they can leverage for your area, like innovation and knowledge management.
Hmm. No, so okay, I don't have a response for that, but I would say, from an entrepreneurial perspective, I mean, you focus on what you want to do. I mean, you focus on your area of interest and you develop that. Why do you want to? If you love something, you focus on that. That's
No,
all.
I mean, if a student wants, suppose like after I know hearing you, somebody wants to work in knowledge and innovation management, then this is not something taught in
Oh,
schools.
okay, 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 okay,
So,
okay,
like,
okay.
what kind of skills they leverage for these areas?
See, this is I mean, very few colleges teach this. Okay, this is mainly content management, information management related area. As a matter of fact, now it is becoming very critical with large language model and all these things coming up, chatbots and all that evolving. But if you're interested, you need to pick more on information management, content management. Those are the core areas. On top of it, you can build the knowledge management related stuff and all these things. Okay, content management or knowledge management different. For example, information architecture, this is a very critical area for organization. Any organization you look into it, they need to have an information architecture. How are you going to handle your content, where you're going to store your information, how are you going to handle your knowledge, the critical knowledge of the organization. This is something any company works with. So if you're interested, you need to take up courses related to that on information management, knowledge management. You will find more courses on information management knowledge. There are very few institutes. I don't think in India anybody is offering courses on that, but in Singapore and all these things, companies are offering, universities are offering courses. Singapore, I have US, there are some universities offering courses.
And is information security is also part of that? Because I see in our organization, like not every
Information.
content should be seen by every
Ah,
department. So we
very
have
good, very good.
here.
It's a part of it. Information security is a part of information management. Correct.
Got you. Okay. Thank you. I mean, yeah. So that means some law and other things also a part of that, right? Like,
There are two parts, Sangamitra. One is information security, data privacy, and all these things from a law perspective. From a company perspective, what we do is that how do I safeguard it with using technology, using your information architecture, setting up the company so that you don't lose the data privacy doesn't hit you. How should I handle the data privacy part of it? So the one is your legality of related to that. Second is how do you technically implement it? And we come to the picture on the second part.
got you. Thank you. And there are another question. What are the key trends in knowledge management that students should be aware of if they are interested in this field?
Key trend, large language modeling, chatbots. Okay, this is extremely important. This is trending. Digital assistance is trending. These are two areas I would say extremely important right now. Okay, so large language model based chatbots is extremely important. That is trending right now, which is related to knowledge management. Digital assistant is another area. Search is extremely critical. This is another area that is becoming very important from a knowledge management perspective. It has been always important, now it's becoming more important.
Yeah. So do you think
And
like,
and one more piece is that employee experience platform that is coming up big time. So your intranet as a concept is evolving into modern workplace. Intranet is evolving into enterprise employee experience platform that is coming up big time.
yeah, I agree. I see that coming up. Like nowadays, like everybody, like to document videos, like, everything you have to document it. So, yeah.
Sangamitra, sorry to interrupt. Hiranyada has some questions. Maybe he can ask himself.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hiranyada, are you there?
I'm sorry. Well, my question was, of course, there's a lot of talk, and it's also has become a reality. So how do you see AI changing the market where your company provide services in next 5 to 10 years? Do you think AI will have a significant negative impact on jobs?
So there are two parts here, okay. AI will definitely disrupt a lot of things, okay. But AI, whether it will have a negative influence on jobs, definitely it will have a negative influence on sub jobs, but it will create new jobs. That's obvious. For example, when automation came up in manufacturing and all that, it disrupted, you lost some jobs, you created new jobs. So from that perspective, definitely AI will result in a lot of jobs being lost, but a lot of new jobs, or probably more than what is currently it is there, it will be getting created. That is there. But from our perspective, from our company perspective, we are seeing a lot of disruptive change in the way companies are working. Now you will see more and more hybrid kind of companies coming up, virtual companies coming up, coming companies without any office space that is coming up, companies that is completely driven through metaverse that will be coming up. Okay, so metaverse is a big thing that kind of slowed down because of AI driven jump and all these things, but metaverse is coming back, will come back. This is our take. And there will be companies only running in metaverse. Okay, they will be completely virtual. Their setup will be virtual. They will be interacting, and they will, for example, you will only be wearing those your VR kind of setups, and then sitting at home and working. Your VR setups and all these things, innovation will definitely, already you are seeing a lot of innovation happening with respect to Meta coming out with better VR sets and all these things. So these are the disruptions that we are going to see from an AI perspective or from a modern workplace that we are going to see. Huge disruption is going to happen, and definitely that is going to happen. The only thing that is of concern, personally, I have a concern is the uh, impact it will have on a developing and a developed country. That is the major thing that we need to be worried about, which we are not writing too much I think, right now, but I'm sure that is when people will start writing on how some companies are able to leverage AI much better than some other companies who are not able to. And this is going to happen because what I've seen is that a company in a developed country is able to afford AI related innovation easily as compared to a company in a developing country because of the resources that is available with them or the money that is available with them. Okay, that is one thing, the one concern I have. But otherwise, there is going to be disruptive change, no doubt about it, in the way companies are forming or running. I'm not talking about other disruptions of AI, but I'm talking from our area that we are looking at.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Randhir. I have one question. So like for any entrepreneurial thing like that you have in mind and then you want to be put in place, for example, for someone who is new, like I mean a student who has some ideas and like I mean he wants to have a startup and so for a student in India right now, like I mean of course not many people will have money to start with, right? Which is so important. What is your advice that what are some sources or resources that they should, you know, um, watch out for or like reach out to get some financial assistance or investment that they can tap into? Do you have any suggestions for them?
I may not be able to advise much on this, but one thing I would like to say here is, if you're coming out with an idea and you're working on that idea, you also better have the capability to bring that idea to shape. Okay. So when I say have the capability, if you're, for example, you've come out with an idea to develop an application, you need to have the capability to code and then bring it out, or your team member should have. So where I'm coming from, okay, is again, I'm going back to one of the examples of Elon Musk. Okay, when he started off, there was no funding available. He more or less that did on his one, okay, with the minimal money that he can bring into the table. Now, what is important, same thing is important here. We have the minimal stuff from a tech infrastructure and perspective and all these things. However, you need to have the capability to build it up completely. I mean, I'm not saying that you will not need to have money, but you need to have the capability to build it. That also is important. Okay. So from a source perspective, I will not be able to advise much, but now a lot of, for example, there are a lot of funders that are there in the market, okay, angel investors and all these things. They can tap into it. As a, from a institute perspective or an academic institute perspective, also you can tie up with all this kind of investors, also, as well as I'm seeing academic institutes having their own innovation centers and all these things where they're supporting, for example, all your cells and all these things that is getting formed where people, students can start their own companies and all that. Those kind of setups will definitely help.
Thank you. So from what you have talked, I have another thing that came up in my mind is that you talked about Elon Musk a couple of times, like, and you talked about that the students who are interested in this type of areas, they should read about his biography. So, and actually, I believe that, like, I mean, the same writer also wrote the biography of Steve Jobs or many others, right? Like Isaacson. I think I read that Steve Jobs biography. So what we see about the innovators is that, like, some are more conventional and some are crazy, like mavericks, right? Like, I mean, Steve Jobs came up with the idea of smartphone when nobody was thinking about it, right? Like smartphone, iPod, or things like that. And I mean, if you see, like, maybe, like, after his death, so the innovations in iPhone are, like, not as much as it was in the beginning. Then, like, you have people like Nvidia CEO who seem like, maybe for someone like me, that okay, he is a visionary but not a crazy maverick. Then, like, people like, for example, what's that called, Bill Gates. Yeah, he is an innovator but he is not a crazy person, like, I mean, and even Jeff Bezos. So but Elon Musk seems like a maverick, right? He will throw ideas, and then, like, I mean, he is coming up with ideas which are bringing, like, results. For example, Tesla, for example, SpaceX. Like, nobody was thinking about it, right? Like, because, I mean, and you say that he didn't have money. So my question is, to be successful as an innovator and entrepreneur, so is it important to be crazy and maverick like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, or you can be a conventional guy also and still you can be successful as an innovator for a student?
So yeah, I was reading about this this guy, Bill Gates. Okay, so he said I worked like a monomaniac. Okay, obsessively focused on that problem that you're studying. He said I didn't look into anything. I was not looking into any other issues in the world. I was only focused on this area. Only focused on this area. Nothing else mattered for me. That kind of focus is, I'm not talking about, see, for example, if you look into Steve Jobs or if you look into Elon Musk, they are very difficult people from your biography. If you read into them, you can understand that they are very difficult people to live with also. However, what is critical, what they did was their focus, monomaniac focus on that problem that they're studying. Bill Gates also did that kind of a did very, very crazy like focus. Even our Indian successive entrepreneurs also, they have that crazy like focus that is there. Nothing else. That focus is the difference that brings to the table, because that focus gives you depth of understanding of a problem. You will be able to find out multiple elements of the problems, and you will be able to come out with multiple solutions or innovations on top. That is what is important, not the craziness part of it. Okay, that monomaniacal focus on a problem, forgetting rest everything, and bringing it up.
No,
Okay,
that's a
that is.
great idea. That's a great thought, that to be monomaniac, because I think, like, there is one tendency sometimes we feel that, like, people want to be like, there is an old saying, right? Like, I mean, jack of all trades and master of none, right? So, like, I mean, if you want to, as students, like, maybe, like, there is a tendency that, that focus is lost, right? Because you do a lot of things together. Maybe you want to be good in academia, you want to be good in sports, you want to be good in social skills and things like that. And when we grow up also, like, we want to keep a focus on so many different things at the same time. But as you say, that to be really successful, you have to at least focus on one thing and forget the rest, right? Because you will be good at one thing. Maybe
Yes.
you will not be a jack of everything, right? But at one thing you will be really good. I think that is something really what's that called? Interesting that you said.
See, what I also learned is that now any subject, any field, don't take it lightly. Any field, if you put your effort on it, you will be able to come out with extremely innovative stuffs in that. Okay, any field you look into it. The only thing is that you have to crazily look into it. Okay, for example, we looked into knowledge management. Not much, many people are looking into it. But as I kept on look into it, I realized that this is one of the most disruptive way of managing companies. Okay. Now that is what gives me energy to look further into it. Okay. And I today I may go and talk to a company, they may not listen to it. But tomorrow I go with a very innovative idea, they will talk to me. And one or two success and it will catch like wildfire. Any idea, look into it. I mean, what one is, you need to have confidence in anything. If you, other people will say that it's a simple thing, but you are confident and you got the crazy thought that, okay, I can make a difference, you get into it. Don't stop yourself.
Great. Yeah.
See, having confidence in yourself is the most important thing. Rest, everything can be taken care of.
Thank you. Thank you. Sanghamitra, take over. Thank you so much, Randhir. Great.
Yeah, I think we are end of our questions. I looked at YouTube and Facebook. I would like to thank Randhir for his insightful talks, and I'm happy that we could interact, and it's an interactive session. And I hope students will benefit and get inspired by Randhir's journey into knowledge management, and most importantly, we learn about like knowledge management and how its impacts in the organization. Yeah, thank you so much, Randhir. Hirananda, you have something to say?
No, nothing. It was excellent. Like I always learn something, and IT is something that I do some research with two of my colleagues from other other universities. So I always keep an eye on what is going on. And one of the things that I have studied is the impact of all kinds of ICT advances on the job market. So that's why I asked the question. I normally uh, say the same thing that, okay, it will kill a lot of jobs, but it will also create a lot of jobs. That has been the history of
Not
our
only that.
development as a humanity. So, there are two group, in fact, even among the economists, there is like a pessimist group and an optimist group. And there are some people at MIT, Harvard, they are the optimists. They say that, okay, there will be more jobs. But one thing that the students, particularly because we are also teachers, so I keep telling my students that whatever I teach in the class today will be obsolete. Probably you will not remember. You will not need in about 6 months. But then what you get from my class is that you have to be a lifelong learner. That means every step of the way you have to learn. If you get the message from my class, that probably I am a successful teacher, because that's what I need to communicate to you. When we were students, I mean, one of the jobs of the teachers was to transfer knowledge, but that there is no need for that. There's so many things from where you can get the knowledge or the information. So we are almost become irrelevant in some sense. So that's what I keep telling people. But it's nice listening to you and knowing about your journey. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you from all of us. Actually, I think because this is a right time to talk about these kind of topics from someone like you who has done it, like, I mean, within your boundaries, and like you have a 5-year-old, I mean, company, and then you have worked earlier also. So that is also an important thing for students to know, right? And then because it's a high time that things are evolving and people want to do things like, because themselves, rather than getting into so-called secure jobs, isn't it? And then job market is like more diverse, right, than what was earlier, and in India too. So I think that it's important that students know about the basic things, like, I mean, what are the things you talked about, financial management, you talked about, and some things that you say that like it is the attitude that is important, not your knowledge. Many a time, somebody who might not be a graduate but has the right attitude, so then they can definitely learn everything. And as you said, and Sanghamitra said, that somebody who is an MA in English but doing everything the right way. So it's not what is their degree. The degree is not defining your success anymore. More and more, right? I mean, in all fields. So it is about how good you want to be, and as long as that is there. So I think like some people will find their way. And you also said about money, right? That money is will come, but uh, you have to have the right idea and the right plan to get started. I think, yeah, no, thank you so much. I think your talk is very relevant. Hope students will find it useful. Sanghamitra, you can conclude, please. I will share the screen for the next talk again. You
Okay.
can do the concluding remark.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Randhir. I would like to thank you again on behalf of 15-Minute Hikha team for your insightful talk. And we hope I know people will in future, yeah, you will open more job opportunities and students can avail that too. So yeah, thank you so much. And I would like to announce our next speaker. Our next speaker will be this is our first series on our Nobel Prize, and it will start with literature on Nobel Prize 2024. And our speaker is Durjuti Sharma, and he already gave a talk last year on Nobel Prize in Literature 2023. He's an excellent speaker, so I'd like you to attend this session. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we are off. What is that called? Like we are not live anymore. So thank you again. So we can be more, like informal.
अच्छा था रणधीर. So now we have a connection in Bangalore, na Randhir? If we need anything
Yes, yes,
related
yes,
to IT, we may be able to reach out to you.
yes,
नहीं,
yes.
मुझे अभी भी समझ में नहीं आया, लेकिन रणधीर की मतलब आई डिडंट वांट टू आस्क लाइव दैट व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट, लाइक कि
Hello.
तुम्हारा तो कंपनी है, तुम्हें गिव
हाँ
मी वन एग्जांपल ऑफ योर प्रोजेक्ट, ताकि मुझे समझ में आए कि आप लोग कर क्या रहे हो.
हाँ, हमारा दो तीन डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट. एक एक क्लासिक प्रोजेक्ट हमको जो रेगुलरली मिल रहा है वो दैट इज मेनली ऑन कंटेंट मैनेजमेंट. कंपनी कम्स एंड टेल अस we've been working for a long time, lot of content gets generated, we are not able to find the right content, we do not know who is working on what, can you please help us on that? So that is our
एक
classic.
एग्जांपल दो, तो लाइक गिव एन एग्जांपल विथ वन कंपनी, बिकॉज वन कंपनी, एंड व्हाट वाज देयर क्वेश्चन एंड व्हाट यू डिड.
So there was an aluminum scrap refining company, one of the largest in India. So they said that they've got some 15, 20 plants across India, and they generate a lot of information, content, बहुत सारा content generate करते हैं. So they do not know, for example, उनके पास बहुत सारा machineries है, machineries का data उनके पास ठीक से नहीं आ रहा है, कहाँ पे store हो रहा है, machineries का help manuals कहाँ पे नहीं मालूम है उनको. और there, so for example, there are machinery problems that they are facing. Some in some plant there is a problem that happened. Another plant is not knowing what is the problem, how they resolved it. So can you bring up everything in a structured manner where I can easily make people talk to each other? If if I'm able to easily find a problem and solve it. For example, I know once I was in बेंस का एक यहाँ पे गया था एक मैंने क्या बोलते हैं ये मेंटेनेंस सेटअप में गया था. So they had a all this data was captured in their system and using a VR kind of a concept. Okay, they used their iPad to point to a specific part of an engine. Automatically वो scan करता है और बोलते हैं engine में ये problem आ सकते हैं, ये problem आया है. So that kind of a setup. So you got all your knowledge that is consolidated. So you can use that technology. You can get into a machinery. You can look into point to a machine. Now Google Lens and all these things have come into the picture. You can easily look into. It will tell you who is the expert working on. For example, one of the companies we worked on, they are working into, their all their staff, support staff is there. They're resolving tickets and all that. Okay. Now they have been working on this kind of stuff for years together. So I've got 2,000, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, or number of tickets and resolution they had. So we built a solution. Whenever there is a problem that happens, immediately the support engineer gets a solution for that. He or she knows who has solved this problem. It also predicts what is the other problem that can come. This is all knowledge management. You are using the existing old knowledge to handle this entire thing. Okay. That is one part of it. What we are also now evolving different models is how fast I can make an organization learn and grow. So see, now if you look into many organizations, if you're a spread organization, you will have islands of expertise. Okay, these islands of expertise are not learning, or they are not enabling learning across each other. Now, how do I connect these dots to make everybody learn together, standardize that learning, and make them learn from their defects and learn faster? Okay, using technology. So this is what we do. We basically, so we do content management, we do knowledge management. Knowledge management is nothing, your process, procedure knowledge on how I do something. So you get 5 teams situated across 5 different parts of the world. They may be doing the same way in different ways. Okay, different approaches. Efficiency of one will be high, efficiency of another person will be on the lower side. Now, how do I connect with each of them to standardize things and then make them learn together faster? See, this is what we do. This is what we do as part of our activity. And this is the uniqueness that we bring to the table. Not many people are doing this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. So that means like, see, like Sanghamitra. So like, for example, because I am totally new to these type of ideas. I only know medicine and nothing else, to be honest. So like that you do this, what is that called? Like, uh, supply chain, right? Okay. So that means that you are a supply chain specialist. Okay. But you are working with a like space company, like Blue Origin. So that means that you give ideas or you make problem or you make solutions about like how things should be, like maybe your projects will be something like that, right? How things should be managed, like whether the system was something like, where problems were there and you are trying to find solutions. So is it somewhat related to what Randhir is doing or no?
Not exactly, but uh, uh, I can give you an example. Like, suppose in the entire supply, like there is a problem, so there is a defect somewhere, and then you have to find the defect. So it's not, that's not a manufacturing defect. That is something maybe in the process. So to identify that, like going back all the way and identifying that, it's like if you have like the entire management process in one document, it's much easier. And Randhir, correct me if it's wrong, and with chat GPT and all, if you have like entire process in one system, it's easy for with the large language model to search it. You have some prompt, and then it will be easy for you to get it retrieved, rather than if it's like everywhere, right, Randhir?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
See, with the large language models, now what is happening for us is that we are able to say, for example, somebody wants to ask a question. How do I set it up in my company so that it will learn from the data of my company and respond? So that is what we are doing. So LLM, for us, LLM is LLM configured for my company data, and that is where we provide our services.
Mm. Yeah, interesting. That thing actually Sanghamitra was saying for a long time, that LLM is specific to the company, right? So that LLM identifies, knows everything about your company, right? Knows
Correct.
everything about your company. And then like, because the company is big enough that not everybody knows about everything, right? Isn't it? For example, Sanghamitra is not a technology expert, right? She is not an engineer who will know about the space things, what they do. But for her to tap into that, so that means she needs, like, if there is an LLM, you just give the prompt and then the information will come. So it's
Correct.
like intra company, like ChatGPT, right?
Absolutely. Right. See,
Right,
that
that
is
is one. And I think another thing is like you cannot give all information to everybody, like even within the company.
Mm,
So how do you protect that?
mm,
Like how, and to protect that also, your knowledge should be processed in a different way for
mm.
everything, right? So that is, I think, another scope in this area, right,
I
Ran?
think that thing is amazing, like because I was never thinking about it, like because I mean, ChatGPT, like I mean, the funny thing is, yeah, about medical field is that we are very slow in adopting like technology. Honestly, it's very slow. That is why, like the sad thing is that many diseases are still like there is no answer. That's a it's a fact, right? Because we do not take like innovations fast, like that ChatGPT, like, I mean, as you were saying, that it is one example only of AI, right? It is one form of it. But as you said that, like, there are opportunities. Hiranyada also said that there are positive people and negative people, right? About what AI will do. Like something like ChatGPT, it has opened a new window, right? It has opened a new window, like, I mean, that you can start thinking about small things like what you both are saying that, oh, ChatGPT for inside my company before the broad like OpenAI has created this whole concept of ChatGPT, people were not thinking about it that is doable, right?
correct, correct,
So
correct.
like, but I think now that like even now, say I think I also believe that there is no copyright for ideas, right? Like, ideas do not have copyright. Like Steve Jobs started this thing like smartphone, and now like Samsung just stole the idea, right? Samsung is just one example. Samsung was not making smartphone before Apple, but like they just stole the idea and made it like in such a great way, and all other companies, right? Nobody can like challenge them. That why did you like take my idea? For example, Uber also. Uber started first. Before Uber, nobody was thinking about that concept, right? But now Ola has made millions of money just by like stealing that Uber concept, right? We have to be very honest
But
about like and open to stealing ideas, right? What's the big deal?
one important thing we should keep in mind is Uber. See, you need to have some capability to build a company like Ola, Uber. Okay, that's the big capability that this guy brought to the table. See,
Mm,
Ola, the Uber example, anybody could have taken it up, but you
mm,
need to have that capability to make it successful. That is what he did.
True,
That
true.
is very important. Okay. Say, for example, Oyo. Oyo is an example. No one else has been able to replicate Oyo that easily. Airbnb was there and Oyo. Other than that, we don't have any players, but the market has got the appetite for more players like that.
Mm,
yeah.
Nobody has come other than Ola in India. An Indian company is not there. So in India, right now in Bangalore, I got only Uber and Ola. Why no
Mm.
one else is coming to the table? Into the
Yeah, because there is still a lot of like I mean feel like in a country like India, I think like that's the big thing, right? Like I mean you don't need to have just Zomato. There can be multiple like toes, right?
multiple,
Who
multiple.
can
Why
do
are
it?
we not come? Why people are not
Yeah.
coming? Because we don't have people with that capability. We need to have that.
Mm.
true,
So,
True, true.
Achha, I have another meeting now.
Okay,
One
okay, bye.
true.
late
Okay.
Thank
in
you
the
so much.
there is another meeting that I set up. Tell me.
Bye,
No, no,
bye, bye,
no,
bye.
thank you so
Yes,
much.
sorry.
And
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you for your time. And yeah, if we need anything, we'll reach out to you.